At the end of this video, you will understand Mars in Leo transit, which is starting from the August-25 till 25th of September 2019. If you want to know more about this, stay tuned and keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Pramanik Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahazani, help you raise your vibrations and become your true self with the help of Vedic astrology. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. If you have any question, add me on Instagram at Pramanik Astrology. DM me, I read all the DMs and I reply to almost all the DMs. And if you have any question regarding any of my YouTube videos or any topic, any suggestions, feedback, comment your suggestion, feedback, query into the relevant YouTube videos. I read all the comments and I try to reply to as many comments as I can. And if you are looking for readings and consultations, check out the link into the description section and go for the complete horoscope analysis. Mars in the sign of Leo. Why I am making the video of Mars into the Leo? I'm not a big fan of the transit videos because I am confused as to whether should I make videos on transit. But in my opinion, Dasha and your personal horoscope is far more important than the transit. Transit will trigger the event and will manifest it in the magnitude of the promise in the horoscope, is what I believe in. But yes, triggering of the events is determined by transits, the Lord of the Bhava in question. What do I mean by that? Suppose you are looking for the marriage timings, or if you are looking for the career rise, or if you are looking for something specific event to happen in your life, and you are looking for the dasha and you want to exactly pinpoint when these things will happen. I'm not a big fan of making the daily videos about moon in each sign every single day. Yes, that can give you an insight for the day, but I have a limitation of time, so I won't be able to do that in near future. Okay, so I try to cover the important transits like we did for the Jupiter transit, we did for the Rahu Ketu transit, now we are doing it for the Mars transit into the sign of Leo. Why this transit is important? This transit is important because if you look at the sign of Cancer, there are a few things to remember before we start getting deep into this. First is Cancer is sign ruled by moon, as you know, but more than that, it is the sign of a water element. 4, 8, 12 is a water element sign, which is ruled by moon. Cancer is ruled by moon. Next important thing to consider is when Mars is coming into the Cancer, it is into its sign of debilitation. It is into the sign of debilitation in Cancer. Now it is moving out of the debilitation and going into the sign of Sun. Sun is friend of Mars. Sun loves to be with Mars. Mars loves to be with Sun because both are male planet, high energy, intense planet. So they like to be in each other's company. More so, this is the Gandanta point. And if you don't know about the Gandanta point, what is the Gandanta point? I have made a complete video on Gandanta point. I will put a link into the description section or maybe I button above. So this transit is important because it is the fiery planet of Mars is going from water element sign to the fire element sign of Leo, ruled by Sun, who is friend of Mars. So Mars loves to be in the sign of Leo because all of the qualities of the Leo resonates well with the independent nature of the Mars. Mars is an independent, fierce, fiery planet who is enterprising, who likes to take initiative, who is disciplined, and more so he is ready to take action like a soldier, a well-equipped soldier ready to attack. Mars is all about the competition, is about the anger, is about the independence, is about the self-reliance. Mars is not a team member. Mars likes to be on his own. He doesn't like to, network like Mercury or create a relationship like Venus to get his work done. He is capable of shouldering any responsibility on his own. He is capable of doing that and he knows it. So he loves to be in the sign of Sun, who is king. Now the planet representing the soldier is coming into the sign of king. So he loves here. Mars is very strong in the sign of Leo. Fierce, independent. But more than that, there are many other things happening during this 1.5 month. We will try to look one by one. The first thing which is happening is on the 9th of August, Mars is entering into the nakshatra of Magha. Magha is a nakshatra ruled by Ketu, who is also works like Mars. Ketu is like Mars. Why? Because Ketu is the planet which shows things which we have already achieved. One of the name for Ketu is Dhwaja, which means flag. And what do we flag? We flag things which we have already conquered. Things which we have conquered in the past life is shown by Ketu. That's why we say Ketu works like Mars. And now Mars is not only coming into the sign of Sun, is coming into the nakshatra of Ketu. Mars is in the sign of Leo in the Magha nakshatra. Let's try to understand quickly the Magha nakshatra. The deity for the Magha nakshatra is Pitra. Pitra is our ancestors, human or non-human. Every divine creature has ascendants. So these Pitras take care of their descendants after life. Pitra literally means ancestors. The symbol for Magha is throne. So it is the legacy from the ancestors, the blessings from the ancestors, the gift from the ancestors of fortune, all that is good given to you. Your Pitra, your ancestors take care of your soul. That's why we pray to them during the Shraddha or during the Pitru Paksha. So on the 9th of August, Mars is coming into the Magha nakshatra in the sign of Leo. Now what's happening? And on 16th or 17th of August, Sun as well as Venus will also come into the sign of Leo along with Mars. Now you have Mars and Venus combination into the sign of Leo in the Mool nakshatra. Magha nakshatra. Okay, and on 30th August, Mercury also joining the Leo sign. So now on 30th of August 2019, 5 of the planets, Sun, Moon, Mars, Venus, Mercury, are in the sign of Leo. So what is important about this transit is almost 3 of the planets, Sun, Mars and Venus, are going through the Gandanta point. So all these 3 planets are going through the Gandanta point, a very sensitive point which is at the end of the water element and of the first few degrees, 3 degrees 20 minutes of the fire element. And this is the transformation. That's why this transit is very important. And the thing about Mars is he takes action. He does not procrastinate. He is there to take the action. We'll talk about that later. So what's happening is, and 10th and 11th of September, Venus and Mercury is moving to the sign of Virgo, where Venus will be debilitated and Mercury will be in its own sign. We will have the conjunction of Sun and Mars in the sign of Leo. Leo has 3 nakshatras: Magha ruled by Ketu, Purva Falguni ruled by Venus, and Uttara Falguni ruled by Sun. So Mars will go through these 3 nakshatras and will activate these 3 planets as well. And here's the thing about Purva Falguni and Uttara Falguni. These are the pairs. We have 3 pairs of Purva and Uttara. The first pair is Purva Falguni and Uttara Falguni. Then we have Purvashadha and Uttarashadha. And then we'll have Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Bhadrapada. This Purva and Uttara is nothing but the pairs. The first part is called the Purva and the second part is known as the Uttara. Right now, Mars will move through Magha Nakshatra, then we'll go to Purva Falguni and then Uttara Falguni. What is the Purva Falguni Nakshatra? Purva Falguni Nakshatra is the nakshatra of love and romance. And Uttara Falguni is the nakshatra for commitment. Both of these nakshatra have a symbol of bed, which represents kind of a pleasures. Purva Falguni is ruled by Venus, Uttara Falguni is ruled by Sun. Now we are going to have Mars Venus conjunct into these nakshatras during this period. Okay, so what's going to happen is relationship is going to be your priority. You will take action with respect to your relationships. You might find someone. You will start enjoying your relationship. There will be passion. There will be lust, because Purva Falguni is about love and romance, is ruled by Venus, is in the sign of Leo, which is creative and holds the signification of the 5th house, and now it gets the fuel of the Mars. So these 1.5 months is going to be all about the relationships. The relationships will be the focus. Let's talk about how this transit is going to affect all the ascendants. We are going to go through quickly. Let's talk about the Aries ascendant. For Aries ascendant, Mars rules the 1st house and the 8th house and is going through the 4th house of the Cancer to the 5th house of the Leo. So the transformation is into the 4th house and the 5th house things, and it is going to aspect the 8th house, which is its own house, and the 12th house, which is Pisces, and the Aquarius. So these are the houses to look out for Aries ascendant. For Taurus ascendant, Mars rules the 7th house and the 12th house and is going through the 3rd house to the 4th house. The transformation, the Gandanta, is from the 3rd house to the 4th house for Taurus ascendant. So there will be some transformation with respect to these houses. Wherever you have the sign of Cancer and Leo as per your ascendant, you will experience transformation in that area of your life. We are talking about the Taurus ascendant. Let's move on to the Gemini ascendant. For Gemini ascendant, Mars rules the 11th house of Aries and the 6th house of Scorpio and is placed into the 3rd house. And we have 4th and 5th sign into the 2nd and 3rd house. So there will be some transformation with respect to your family, with respect to your younger siblings, with respect to your close friends. Third house is also about the self effort. So all these things are going to get fueled and triggered by these transits. Whether this will be good or bad depends upon so many factors. Depends upon the Ashtakvarga, depends upon the planets you have in the sign of Leo. The Lord of the Leo, that is Sun in your chart. Whether these planets are transiting over your Sun, whether these planets are transiting over your Jupiter in the Leo, or you have Saturn in the Leo, if you have Ketu in the Leo, if you have Rahu in the Leo, so many things to look for. So we are not going to think about it in terms of good or bad. So these are the houses which will lit up. Okay. For Cancer ascendant, we have now look at the Cancer ascendant. Cancer have a ascendant itself in a Gandanta. Now the planet is, now the Mars is moving from the ascendant to the second house. All this drama of Cancer to Leo is happening in the first to second house for these. For Leo, it is happening in the houses of 12th house and the first house. It is intense. It is intense and extremely transformative. For the Leo ascendant, I feel is going to feel the most during this transit. Okay, so if you have Leo ascendant and if you have some great yogas there, if you have any good combinations, if you have Mars friends sitting in there, if you have Sun, the Lord of the first house is sitting in a good position. So all these is going to give you the physical strength required to achieve what you want in life. It is going to give you that enthusiasm, that energy, because first house is your physical body and Mars is the energy of the first house, the original first house, the fire element Aries. So it really helps you to work towards your body. You may start working out. It will help you to get in shape, to get the strength, to get the best of the health. Virgo ascendant. For Virgo ascendant, it will be into the 11th house to the 12th house. 12th house is not about the losses and expenses. It is also the second house to the 11th and 11th to the second. And now all these planets are moving from the 11th house of Cancer, the 11th house Cancer Rashi to the 12th house. See the sensitive points. Okay, so for them, for Virgo ascendant, the transformation is into the 11th to the 12th. Okay, and Mars rules the 3rd house and the 8th house. Let's move on to the Libra ascendant. For Libra ascendant, Mars rules the 7th house and the 2nd house. And where is the Cancer sign? Cancer sign is into the 10th house and Leo is into the 12th sign. The 11th house. So all these planets are moving from the 10th house to the 11th house. Let's move on to the Scorpio ascendant. For Scorpio ascendant, Mars is ruling the ascendant as well as the 6th lord. And the transformation is from Cancer to Leo and it's happening from the 9th house to the 10th house. All the planets, Mars is moving from the 9th house to the 10th house. Sun is moving from the 9th house to the 10th house. Venus, Mercury, everything is coming into the 10th house for the Scorpio ascendant. And when you have the ascendant lord aspecting the ascendant during the transit, it has its own positive impacts as well. But that is not the topic of today's video. So let us move on to the Sagittarius ascendant. For Sagittarius ascendant, Mars rules the 12th house and the 5th house. And it is moving from 8th house to the 9th house, from the Cancer to the Leo. For Sagittarius ascendant, Mars is ruling the 12th house and the 5th house, and Cancer is into the 8th house and Leo is into the 9th house. So all the transformation is happening in the 8th house to the 9th house. Let us move on to the Capricorn ascendant. For Capricorn ascendant, Mars rules the 11th house and the 4th house. And we have the transformation from Cancer to Leo in the sign of, in the houses 7 to 8. And 7th house is also the house of relationships. The Purva Falguni, the Venus energy, everything is coming in from 7th to the 8th. 8th house is the house which gives energy to the 7th house, by the way. Okay, so relationships are going to be very prominent for Capricorn ascendant. Let us move on to the Aquarius ascendant. Aquarius ascendant. For Aquarius ascendant, this transformation is happening from the 6th house to the 7th house. And Mars is ruling the 8th house and the 3rd house. So all the planets are moving from the 6th house to the 7th house. Again, relationships. Yeah. For Aquarius ascendant as well, the focus will be from the 6th house to the 7th house. Pisces ascendant. For Pisces, Mars rules the 2nd house and the 9th house. So for Pisces ascendant, the transformation is happening from the 5th house to the 6th house. So many planets are coming from the 5th house to the 6th house. So how you can yourself judge the transit? Well, I have one video, how to judge transit, 5 ways to judge transit. I'll put a link into the description or an end screen. Do watch that video and come back and watch this video again. And you will have a better idea of what this Mars in Leo transit is going to be for you. So this was Mars in Leo, as much as I could hold, grasp and share with you guys. If you have any question, put them into the comment section. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibes. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.